and it's a pleasure to share the platform this evening with my fellow speakers. And I'm sure Jamie and Jim will forgive me if in particular I reiterate what they have said and give appreciation and thanks especially to Kate and to Ben, and not least for driving forward the legal action that has, I think, exposed the reality, the constitutional reality of what the protocol means. I'm pleased to be here this evening, and I brought my orange collaret, which I will wear later in the parade. And I am reminded that the Orange Institution was founded in remembrance of what was brought to this island in the form of civil and religious liberty for all. And I stand before you this evening as a unionist, and all that I want for all of our people is to have that liberty for everyone, because that's what we stand for. And the glorious revolution, which was at the heart of what the Orange Institution stands for, was to establish our parliamentary democracy. And under our parliamentary democracy, it is the people who are supreme. That is the essence of the constitution of this country. And yet, in this protocol, we have something that has denied the right of the people and undermines the right of the people in this part of the United Kingdom. The Prime Minister and the government told us that Brexit would be and would enable the United Kingdom to take back control. And yet this week in the House of Commons, I listened to the Chancellor of the Exchequer, one of the most powerful ministers in our government, tell us that provisions that were being made by our government to help every citizen of this country at this time could not apply to Northern Ireland because of the protocol. And that shows us that we haven't taken back control, that part of the United Kingdom does not enjoy the full control of our Parliament and our government. And therefore, civil and religious liberty, and that at the heart of our democracy, our democratic rights have been eroded and undermined by this protocol. And that is wrong. And that is wrong, and that is why tonight we are standing together to say very clearly that this is not acceptable, and we will not put up with the subjugation of our rights as citizens of the United Kingdom. But I am very clear. I am very clear. I am very clear that we must stand together and we must be united, because the media are here tonight to see disunity, and let us show them that together we stand united against this protocol. Let the message that goes out from Ballymoney, let the message that goes out from this town be one of unity in opposition to the protocol, and not one of disunity, which is what our enemies want. And let us not forget that. And that is the message. And let me echo what Ben Habib said this evening. Let me echo what he said, because we need to understand what we are up against. If we fail in this forthcoming election, and that is our first test, if we fail in this forthcoming election as unionists to maximise the unionist vote and maximise the unionist representation, and if Republicans win, the message that will go out from Northern Ireland to the European Union is that the protocol is acceptable. I want the message to go out from this place that we stand united in our aspiration and in our clear position that the protocol is not acceptable and it must go, and that is the message we need to send out from Northern Ireland in this election, and we will only do it by standing together, by voting for those parties that are against the protocol, by transferring our votes and ensuring the maximum unionist representation at the end when the result is declared. Because let me say that our opponents will not stand still if they win the election. It is evident what they want. Not only do they want the rigorous implementation of the protocol because they know it will harm our place within the United Kingdom, it will increasingly separate us from the rest of the United Kingdom, but they want to press forward for a border poll. They want to put Ulster's future on the line. And that is why unionism, coming together, standing firm in our belief in a union that is good for all, that benefits all, and that delivers democracy and rights for all, is what we stand for as a people. We do not ask, as Lord Carson often said, we do not ask for ourselves anything other than our democratic rights, and we want those democratic rights for everyone in Northern Ireland as part of the United Kingdom. So the challenges that we face are real. There's no doubt about that. But as our chairman John reminded us earlier, we have faced many challenges before. I listened earlier to some of the speeches coming out of the SDLP conference today. Earlier this week, Jim and I wrote articles for the Unionist Voice website, simply outlining our concern that what we were told we would have, we do not have. That the principle of consent does not offer the protection that we were told was there and clearly is not there, and that the principle of consent does not prevent constitutional change, and therefore we need the law changed to protect our place in the United Kingdom. And that's what I have said. I'm simply demanding that we are given what we were promised and told we had, and I want to see the law changed to bring that about. But the Deputy Leader of the SDLP, Nicola Mallon, chided me for daring to ask for these things. And she said, well, you know, there's Jeffrey Donaldson and he's putting an article on a website that is run by Jamie Bryson. Well, let me remind you, Nicola Mallon, that in the last general election, you stepped aside for Sinn Féin in North Belfast to bring down an MP who the IRA tried to murder. So we will take no lectures from Nicola Mallon, because she stepped aside, she eschewed the right to stand in that election in favour of a party that continues to glorify the deeds of the IRA. So in conclusion, Mr. Chairman, let me repeat again what I think you have heard from this platform, and it is very clear. Yes, absolutely, unity is the word that we use, because that is how the government will understand that we are not going to give way on this issue. That we want and we demand what we were promised. That we're not asking for something we haven't been told we're entitled to. We are not asking for something that we haven't already been told we should have. We're simply asking for that which is our right. The right to trade freely within our own country. You know, when I listen to President Biden talking about the protocol and the importance of the protocol, I am reminded that when the Americans caused a revolution to buy and bring about their independence, it was all about, what was it, Jim, you said? No taxation without representation. No taxation without representation. The Americans fought a war of independence on that issue, and yet we are expected to accept no taxation. We have no right to control the powers of our taxation. This week we saw that in stark relief in the House of Commons. The Chancellor of our own country, the Treasury, cannot change our tax in this part of the United Kingdom because the European Union controls VAT in this part of the United Kingdom. So our taxation is not being controlled by London. And yet we have no representation. The European Union is passing laws that will impact on Northern Ireland every day. It's costing our economy millions of pounds. It is causing major disruption. It is adding to the cost of living. 27% is the additional cost that the protocol has brought in the transportation of goods from Great Britain to Northern Ireland. That means that in every shop in Ballymoney, prices are going up because of the protocol. And yet we have no say in what the European Union does. And that is wrong. And I say to President Biden, what you want for your country, we want for this country. We want the right to democracy, to have a say in how we are governed, and to determine our own laws and not to have them imposed by a foreign power. So let us continue to stand together, united in our determination that the protocol must go and our democratic rights as British citizens should be fully restored. Thank you.